What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Zoe, and I make bookish and lifestyle type videos. I am so excited to be filming a little sit-down video. It has been so long since I have just done something really relaxed, chill, cozy, that's not a vlog. I'm also really excited because I'm filming one of my favorite videos to film, which is a book haul. I think the last book haul that I filmed was probably after Christmas and my birthday. So these are all books that I have gotten from like February until now. I have about 24 books that I can't wait to talk about and share with you guys. So we'll go ahead and get started. I first off want to say thank you so much to Book of the Month, who is sponsoring this video. I know that a lot of you in the bookish community are probably familiar with Book of the Month, but I wasn't aware of some of the awesome features that they have. So Book of the Month is an adult book subscription box that helps people discover the best new, early, and debut adult fiction releases. Every single month they have 5 books that you can pick from, and I actually didn't know that they offer early releases, which is really cool. So you can choose to pick a book that isn't yet released to everyone else, but released to Book of the Month subscribers. What I love about their options is that all of the books, first of all, always look so good. I always have the hardest time picking which book to read, but they also have a variety of genres. So they'll have different options like a mystery thriller, a contemporary, a historical fiction, a fantasy, magical realism. They have just such good selections to pick from. And in addition to picking one of the featured books, so if you just can't decide which one to pick, you can actually select up to 2 more of them, or a past featured book, some YA selections as add-ons to the subscription for that month. You can also select to skip a month if you don't want to pick a book that month. If none of those selections are speaking to you, you can totally skip the month, which I absolutely love when subscription boxes offer that as well, because sometimes maybe you just don't want to spend money on a book. You don't have to do the subscription that month in that case. They were actually so nice to send me all 5 of May's books that you can select from, so I'm really excited to talk about all of these books with you guys. The cost of the monthly subscription is $15 a month, but you can actually get your first month for just $10 by using the code linked in my description below. I think $10 for one of these new adult fiction books is a steal. A lot of times these books are $20 and up just buying them from the shelves, so that's an amazing deal. I think they're really perfect too for people who maybe don't consume books on a super regular basis. If you're looking to read more books this year, it's a great way to just subscribe, get a book, read that book that month, and feel really accomplished that you're reading and doing it on a consistent basis. So like I said, you can go ahead and click the link below to get your first month for $10, which is awesome. Thank you again so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. All right, now we can go ahead and talk about all of the books that I have here. I'm so excited. I have so many books to talk about. I'm a little intimidated. Get your favorite beverage. This might be a little bit long, but totally worth it. I have so many books that I'm excited to talk about. I don't really have a particular order I want to talk about these books, so we're just gonna go ahead and dive in. The first book that I have hauled recently, along with everybody else, is the new book by Sarah J. Maas, Crescent City, House of Blood and Earth. Yes, I have it in my possession. It's so big. I want to read it so badly. I don't know if you know, but I am a stan of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I did not like her Throne of Glass series as much, but I really got invested into Court of Thorns and Roses. No, I don't think she's the most eloquent author, and I think that there's like some scenes that are really cheesy and just, it's not the greatest, most amazing piece of literature ever, but I don't care. I love it. I loved the characters. I loved the storyline. I am not a fantasy lover. If you know me at all, you know I don't love fantasy, but that series just did it for me, so I had to pick up her new one to just give it a try. The little blurb here says, bound by blood, tempted by desire, unleashed by destiny. It just sounds amazing. So it sounds like it's about these 2 characters, Bryce and Hunt, who, Hunt is like this fallen angel type person, and Bryce had this perfect life until a demon murdered all of her close friends, and so Bryce and Hunt are teaming up together to find the murderer and avenge her friends. And if Hunt finds this murderer, he'll have some kind of freedom. Honestly, like, It sounds like a wild adventure. I'm sure there's a love story, so I'm excited. I hope that I like it as much of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I want to read it. If you already read this, let me know your thoughts. Don't give me any spoilers, but I am very fascinated and excited to start this one very soon. The next book that I have in this haul is Woven in Moonlight. This is by Isabel Ibanez, and I believe that this is a debut novel, which is awesome. It's a beautiful cover. I am absolutely obsessed with this cover. I want this hung up on my wall. I just love it so much. And it sounds like it's a fantasy. Sounds like this book is actually incredibly action-packed. There's spies and a revolution and royalty and a usurper and just all of these just action-packed type of themes. I am very, very intrigued by this book, and it sounds like the writing is really great, so I'm really, really excited to check this one out soon. The next book that I have in this haul was so kindly sent to me by my friend Rosemary, and it is Space Boy. This is by Stephen McCraney, and it's volume 1. I believe it's a series of graphic novels that follows this main character. I saw it on, who was reading this? Chelsea, maybe? From Chelsea Dawling? Maybe someone else, but they were reading this a long time ago. I saw it, put it on my wish list, and it just looks really interesting. The artwork looks really great. I love a good graphic novel to split up some of the bigger books that I read. And it says, Amy lives on a mining colony out in deep space, but when her dad loses his job, the entire family is forced to move back to Earth. Amy says goodbye to her best friend, Gemma, and climbs into a cryotube where she will spend the next 30 years frozen in a state of suspended animation, hurtling in a rocket towards her new home. And when Amy arrives on Earth, she feels like an alien in a strange land. The sky is beautiful, but the gravity is heavy and the people are weird. Stranger still is the boy she meets at her new school, a boy who has no flavor. So it's a little like sci-fi drama, and I'm so here for that. I actually want to pick this up like really soon. I might start this tonight, honestly. It sounds really cool. Thank you so much, Rosemary, for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. The next book that I have is actually one of Book of the Month's books from last month. So from the month of, what was last month? April. Why did that take me so long? That book is The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and I'm very excited to read this. I think this was actually one of their early releases. This one actually might not be quite out yet, but Book of the Month does have it, so maybe check that out. But this one looks so good, and my friend Gabby from Gabby Reads, she read this, and I think she gave it 5 stars. I think she really liked it. This is a mystery thriller. I'm so excited to start it. I'm actually reading this with my friend Jacqueline from Weeby Bookin'. I'll link her channel below as well. We are reading this together this month, and then I will be on her channel for her live show. I'm really excited for that. But this takes place on an island off the coast of Ireland, and there's a wedding. Guests gather to celebrate the wedding of Jules Keegan and Will Slater. I think a lot of people say that this reminds them of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, or I feel like there's another one that I'm thinking of that I can't remember the name of, but very Agatha Christie type vibes, apparently. I've never read anything by her, but that's what people are saying. Ooh, this sounds so, so good. It looks like the cover is like perfect for what this is about. There's a wedding happening, but it sounds like as the wedding continues to progress, there's a lot of jealousy that comes out, some secrets, some dark stuff, pettiness, and the weather is also changing, so it's getting like moodier and darker, and it's on the coast, so like there's probably a lot of rain and waves and craziness, and I'm just really excited. The setting sounds so interesting. I cannot wait to read this one very soon. Another book that I got recently is Fractured Tide. This is by Leslie Karen Lutz, and it says 4 shipwrecked survivors, 1,000 ways to die. And this book has been marketed as being like the show Lost, and I loved that show. We won't talk about the ending of that show, but I loved Lost so much, and I will read anything that has to do with like survivors on an island, a plane crash, a shipwreck. I love those books. I don't know why. If you have any recommendations in that type of theme and setting for me, please tell me, because seriously, I don't know what it is, but I just really, really love reading books about survivors on deserted islands, stuck, having to survive all of the elements and the bugs and the food and all that stuff. So Yes, that's what this is. I'm very excited. I think it follows the story of a girl who is a diving instructor, and one day everything kind of goes wrong and they get stuck in a storm, and then there's 4 survivors. But I think that there's some mystical, kind of interesting, scary things happening on the island that they end up on. So, yes. I love it. I can't wait. I want to read this right now. So the next book I'm going to talk about is one of the books from Book of the Month for this month, May selection, and that is Happy and You Know It by Laura Hankins. This book looks so cool. I think this one might be the first one I want to pick up out of the 5, but honestly I don't know because they all sound really interesting. I love the style of this cover and just the enamel pins, and the story sounds so interesting. So it's the story of Claire, who is a struggling musician in New York, and her band, I think, gets disbanded and she doesn't know quite what to do, but she needs to make money, so she becomes this musician for like an elite mom's like play date group, so for like a bunch of kiddos. And it sounds like there's a lot of like secrets and jealousy and dark things between the moms of the play group that's paying her. So these moms all look really put together and perfect and have all this money, but there's a lot of twists and stuff that happen. I think we're probably seeing it from Claire's perspective, so she probably gets to know these women's like secrets and stuff. I don't know, it just sounds so good. It sounds like Gossip Girl but turned up a notch, and I am so here for it. I'm really, really excited to get to this one. I just decided I'm gonna go through all the rest of the Book of the Month picks for this month. So the next one is A Good Marriage. This is by Kimberly McCreet, and I think that this is the mystery thriller selection for this month. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So this one sounds like a really good like crime thriller where our main character is a lawyer and she's got some marriage issues, and she gets a call from an inmate at this prison who is actually one of her friends, and he is the main suspect in his wife's recent murder. So she's walking through trying to prove that he's innocent while also dealing with her own marital problems. I think there's a lot of twists and turns that happen in this as well, and I am very, very intrigued. The next book that I have is The Knockout Queen. This is by Rufi Thorpe. This one also sounds really good. I think that this is more of a hard-hitting contemporary literary fiction. It tells the story of this girl named Bunny Lampert, who is the daughter of this like real estate mogul in this really elite kind of estate area, and she's really tall. She's like 6'3", and she just feels kind of like uncomfortable in her body like being that tall, but she has all these dreams of competing in the Olympics and accomplishing her goals. Even though her father looks really put together and everything on the outside, he's actually struggling with being an alcoholic, and so she just wants to fit in, get through high school, chase her dreams, have a boyfriend, all of that stuff. This also follows the story of Michael, who I believe is in the same grade, and he is actually her neighbor, so he actually sees some of Bunny's father's alcoholism come out, and he's kind of made aware of the things that go on in her household. He also, though, is struggling with pretending to be straight, so he is also just trying to feel comfortable in his own body, find their way. I think it's like an unlikely friendship between the two of them, and kind of like a coming of age story and how it all kind of works out at the end. I'm really excited to learn more about both Bunny and Michael, and I don't know, see where their stories take them. They just sound really intriguing and like characters I want to get to know. I have a feeling I might cry while I read this book, so I'm really excited to get to it. And then the last Book of the Month book that I have is The Boyfriend Project. This is by Farah Roshkan. And this kind of sounds actually a little bit similar to, it reminds me of The Right Swipe, which I just read and is in my last vlog that I just recently posted. It's about this woman and this man, and she ends up finding out that the guy that she's been dating actually has like 2 other girlfriends or 3 other girlfriends. Basically, he has a lot of other girlfriends, and she finds out. I think there's some kind of viral video where like they call him out, or they all find out together and then go after him or something and then film it, and it goes viral, and so all of those girls end up kind of becoming like best friends. I think it's like her story of dealing with that and then finding her way afterwards, maybe dating again, and it sounds really cute. Honestly, it sounds like a really intriguing romance, so I'm excited to read this. I did have a couple issues with The Right Swipe if you watch that video, so I hope that the same things don't happen in this one, but yeah, we'll see. Oh, we need a kitty break. Ooh, say hello. Good boy. The next set of books I have, I'm so excited to talk about. It's really, really special. These were sent to me by my friend Eden from Eden is Reading, and I will link her channel down below. She is one of the sweetest people on BookTube and on Bookstagram. I love her Bookstagram as well. She's just a really, really, really kind person, and she so sweetly sent me the entire box set of the Chronicles of Narnia. I was so surprised when I saw these in the mail. You are the sweetest, Eden. Thank you so much. This has been on my list to read for a very long time. And this box set in particular is just absolutely stunning. They are the really like nice, shiny pages, and they have color illustrations, and I'm just, yeah, I'm really, really excited. I know a lot of you have probably read the Chronicles of Narnia. I have not. I have read The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but I haven't read any of the other books, so I really, really want to read the series. I'm thinking of possibly vlogging my experience with the series, but I don't know if anyone would be interested in seeing that. So if that is something that you would watch, definitely let me know. But yeah, just this whole story, Chronicles of Narnia, it's been around for so long, by C.S. Lewis. I feel like I don't even really need to explain it. It's kind of one of those like classics like The Hobbit or even Harry Potter. I love that I have these on my shelves, and I cannot wait to get to the series. The next book that I have is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. This is by Ian Reid, and I saw Kat from Paperback Dreams read this, and I think she really liked it, and I think it's kind of a mystery. I don't want to say thriller, maybe a little bit psychological. There's a quote on the back that says, "An ingeniously twisted nightmare road trip through the fragile psyches of two young lovers." I think that this takes place during a road trip. Honestly, it's kind of one of those books that I don't want to know anything going into it, so I'm not looking up any reviews or even really a synopsis. There's another quote that says, "You will be scared, but you don't know why." I've heard that this is a really good book club book as well, so yeah, I'm just very excited to read this. It actually has been on my list for a long time, but when I saw that Kat read it recently and really liked it, I went ahead and just purchased it. I don't think it's that expensive on Amazon, at least it wasn't when I got it. A road trip, two young lovers, something scary happens. I don't know. I'm ready. The next book that I have is a book that I picked up at a used bookstore. It has a little bit of a sticker residue on it, but it is The Escape Room by Megan Golden. So one thing that I really want to do more of is browse bookstores again and find books that intrigue me that I haven't heard of before, as far as like other booktubers or bookstagrammers recommending it. I used to love just like browsing the bookstore and just trying to find any book that just called to me and sounded so interesting, and I really want to do more of that instead of just looking for the books that I already know of. So this was one of those books. I think this actually was like a fairly popular book, but I've never heard of it. I picked this up because it sounds super interesting, and it's about this work team that I think has like a team bonding experience. They go to an escape room together, but then the escape room turns like deadly and they have to make it out alive, and that like whole scenario sounds so crazy. I really hope this isn't a flop. I hope I didn't pick up a dud, but yeah, that whole story just sounds so crazy to me, so I can't wait to get to this one. Another book in the very same way that I picked up that I hadn't heard of before, but it really intrigued me, was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I have heard of her before, Lisa Jewell. I haven't read any of her books though, and I don't remember which one is like her most popular. It sounds like this one was actually fairly popular. The quote says, "An acutely observed family drama with bone-chilling suspense." I'm always here for a good family drama with bone-chilling suspense. So I really can't wait to get to this one too. It sounds like it's the story of a 15-year-old girl who one day mysteriously disappears, and it's 10 years down the road, and this girl's mother is trying to just put her life back together after the disappearance of her daughter. And then one day this mother meets this guy at a cafe, and later on she ends up meeting his daughter, and his daughter looks very eerily like her daughter. So I don't know if like that is her daughter or this man knows where her daughter is or what happened, but I just think that that sounds really crazy and I'm very fascinated to find out what happens in this story. The next book that I have is Where Dreams Descend. This is by Janella Angels, and I believe this is a series. It's book 1, and it's being marketed as Phantom of the Opera meets Moulin Rouge, and I love Moulin Rouge so much with my whole heart. This cover totally gives me both of those vibes. It's a stunning cover, but I love anything that has to do with like dark stage settings and like plays or musicals, stuff like that, like, but like the darker side of that stuff I'm so intrigued by. If there's like magicians in here, musicians, stage acts, stage hands, directors, like there's something about those elements that I think just craft such an interesting story. And this follows the story of a 17-year-old girl named Kalia who wants to become the world's best magician. And that's kind of all I want to know personally. I can't help but think about in The Immortalist how one of my favorite characters, her goal was to become this amazing magician. It kind of reminds me of her. So I really like this. I feel like I already really love our main character and I can't wait to read about her story and what happens on the stage and behind the scenes. It just sounds really, really cool. Just have a couple books left. I have 4 books left and they are all mystery thrillers. The first one that I have is She Lies in Wait. This is by Gaitha Lodge and it says 6 friends, 1 killer. Who do you trust? Sounds like it's really atmospheric. 7 teenagers go down to the woods, but only 6 come out. So what happened to the one that didn't come out? I think it might follow like the detective story, which can be a hit or a miss for me sometimes. Sometimes I can really love like the true crime, following the story, who done it kind of thing, and sometimes I really don't. So this one might be really, really good, might be really, really bad, but either way, I'm very intrigued by the premise of them going into the creepy woods and coming out and what happened to the one that didn't come out. The next book that I have is Little Darlings by Melanie Golding, and Jacqueline from Weeby Bookin put this one on my radar. She said she wanted to read it soon. I believe that this one came out last year. It actually sounds really kind of scary and action-packed. So it's the story of this mom who is really, really exhausted. She has twins and she'll never forget how when the twins were born, she saw that something came into her room and tried to take her twins and replace them with these creatures. And no one believes her. They all think that she was just kind of delirious and exhausted from giving birth, but she knows that it happened. Fast forward a little bit, they're in the park and one day her babies go missing, but then a couple hours later they're found unharmed, and while everyone is celebrating that they were found, the mom knows that those are not her babies. So I don't know, it sounds a little sci-fi. Maybe they're like aliens. I don't know, they're clones. I'm so fascinated. I can't wait to get to this one. The next book I have is Mr. Nobody. This is by Catherine Stedman, and I think Gabby from Gabby Reads read this one as well and got this one on my radar. I think she really liked this one. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch her video. It's like a psychological thriller that follows the story of a psychiatrist treating a man with no memory, but the man has a lot of insight into the past, just not his own past. The man is found like wandering the beach and he doesn't have any memory or even know who he is. And like the medical experts that are trying to treat him just are super baffled by his case. And I think further on as the story goes, maybe some secrets come out, maybe he starts remembering things, maybe he's not really who he seems. I don't know, but yeah, this whole cover too just totally intrigues me. It's so fascinating. I love a good psychological thriller, so I'm very excited to get to this one soon. And then the last book that I have for this book haul is The Housekeeper by Nathalie Borelli. Trying not to read too much of the description, but it sounds kind of like these 2 women have a history with one another, maybe not in such a good way. Like maybe one of the women like kind of bullies the other one. 10 years later, they see each other in a hair salon, but the woman who did the bullying doesn't recognize her or notice her. And so the other woman decides to start stalking her. And then I think she becomes her like housekeeper. Maybe she like blackmails her or does things to kind of like mess with her. I also think that the themes around like nannies or housekeepers like being creepy is also really fascinating. So excited to get to this one as well. All right, y'all. Well, those are all of the books that I have for you. If you have stuck around this long, I'm so impressed. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if any of these books stand out to you. If you have read any of these books, let me know your thoughts. Always no spoilers, but I would love to hear what you think, which one I should pick up first, because I want to read them all at the same time right now. And don't forget the code linked down below in my description box for Book of the Month. You can get your first month for $10, which is such a good deal. All right, y'all. Well, I hope you are staying safe and healthy. I love you so much, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!